Welcome back to another 1 Year Bible read on the Latest Core channel and on Core Extended. Oh, contestant, come on down. Come on down. See the prize that you won. Know what the prize is? Day 323 in a row of 1 Year Bible read. Come on down. Come on down and enjoy the prize. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another 1 Year Bible read on the channels. I don't really like both the names. It's kind of long. Oh man. But welcome to today's 1 Year Bible read. Today, chat, we're going to be reading from Ezekiel 39, 1 through 40, going to verse 27. We're going to be following up Ezekiel with James 2:18 through 3, going to verse 18. After James, we're going to get into Psalms 118, 1 through 18. And after that, we're going to get into Proverbs 28, 2. All right, okay, nice to meet you. Nice to see you. If you're new, how you do? If you're not new, I still appreciate you. Thank you for joining me for another 1 Year Bible read on the channels. You want me to say the name, don't you? On the Limited Core channel and on Core Extended. All right, got it out of the way, okay? Now, this is day 323 in a row. And if you don't know, we're doing this for 365 of those days in a row, right? So if you do want to join us for the remainder of the days, go ahead and follow, like, subscribe, do what I do to join us and stay with us for the rest of this Bible journey we're doing. And if you don't, well, I still hope you have a great day. You ain't got to join me for me to wish you some goodness. You feel me? All right. All right. And now, without further ado, it's time for chapstick. I don't feel like I have enough lips to be putting that much chapstick on. But I needed some chapstick, man. Your lips get dry along the. What's up, the Russian comrade? How you doing, my Russian comrade? Nice to meet you, my Russian comrade. I don't know what that says, but I'm assuming it means what's up. Hey, what's up right back to you. All right. And now that our lips are no longer dry to read properly tonight, let's get into the ninth read, chat. All right, so this is day 323 in a row of our 1 Year Bible read. And without further ado, what's up, Sydney? How you doing? I'm doing pretty good. Cheesy ice cream. That's interesting flavors right there. But hey, that's what you like, man. It's all good. Um, but we're ready for the night's read. If you don't know what we're doing here for time before we get right into it, this is day 323 in a row of our 1 Year Bible read. We're doing this for 365 days. And if you want to join us for the rest of this journey, subscribe, like, share, whatever you want to do. But now, without further ado, we're going to get into Ezekiel. See if I can I translate this? Can I translate? Can I hold press to translate? I wish I could translate. I wish I could translate, bro. I'm a screenshot. I'm gonna put this in my translate app later. All right, cool. But now, get into Ezekiel 39, 1 through 40, going through verse 27. Okay, son of man, prophesy against Gog. Give him this message from the sovereign Lord. I am your enemy, Gog, ruler of the nations of Meshech and Tubal. I will turn around and drive you toward the mountains of Israel, bringing you from the distant north. I will knock the bow from your left hand and the arrows from your right hand, and I will leave you helpless. Your army and your allies will all die on the mountains, and I will feed you to the vultures and wild animals. You will fall in the open fields, for I have spoken, says the sovereign Lord, and I will rain down fire on Magog and all your allies who live safely on the coast. Then they will know that I am the Lord. In this way I will make known my holy name among the people of Israel, and I will not let anyone bring shame on it. And the nations too will know that I am the Lord, the Holy One of Israel. That day of judgment will come, says the sovereign Lord, and everything will happen just as I've declared it. Then the people in Israel will go out and pick up your small and large shields, bows and arrows, javelins and spears, and they will use them for fuel. There will be enough to last them 7 years. They won't need to cut wood from the fields or forests, for these weapons will give them all the fuel they need. They will plunder those who plan to plunder them, and they will rob those who plan to rob them, says the sovereign Lord. And I'll make a vast graveyard for Gog and his horde in the valley of the travelers, east of the Dead Sea. It will block the way of those who travel there, and they will change the name of the place to the valley of Gog's hordes. It will take 7 months for the people of Israel to bury the bodies and cleanse the land. Everyone in Israel will help, for it will be a glorious victory for Israel when I demonstrate my glory on that day, says the sovereign Lord. After 7 months, teams of men will be appointed to search the land for skeletons to bury, so the land will be made clean again. Whenever bones are found, a marker will be set up so the burial crews will take them to the buried in the valley of Gog's hordes. There will be a small town there named Hamona, which means horde, and so the land will finally be cleansed. And now, son of man, this is what the sovereign Lord says. Call all the birds and wild animals. Say to them, gather together my great sacrificial feast. Come from, come from far and near to the mountains of Israel, and there eat flesh and drink blood. Eat the flesh of women and drink the blood of princes, as though they were rams, lambs, goats, and bulls, all fattened animals from Bashan. Gorge yourselves with flesh until you are glutted. Drink blood until you are drunk. This is a sacrificial feast I have prepared for you. Feast at my banquet table. Feast on horses and charioteers, on mighty men of all kinds, and valiant warriors, says the sovereign Lord. In this way, I will demonstrate my glory to the nations. Everyone will see the punishment I have inflicted on them and the power of my fist when I strike. And from that time on, the people of Israel will know that I am the Lord their God. The nations will then know why Israel was sent away to exile. It was punishment for sin, for they were unfaithful to their God. Therefore, I turn them and let their enemies destroy them. I turn my face away and punish them because of defilement and their sins. So now, this is what the sovereign Lord says. I will end the captivity of my people. I will have mercy on all of Israel, for I jealously guard my reputation. They will accept responsibility for their past shame and unfaithfulness after they come home to live in the peace of their own land, with no one to bother them. When I bring them home from the lands of their enemies, I will display my heart among them for all the nations to see. Then my people will know that I am the Lord, their God. I sent them away to exile and brought them home again. I will leave none of my people behind, and I will never again turn my face from them. For I will pour out my spirit upon the people of Israel. I, the sovereign Lord, have spoken. On April 20th, during the 25th year of our captivity, 14 years after the fall of Jerusalem, the Lord took hold of me. In a vision from God, he took me to the land of Israel and set me down on a very high mountain. From there, I could see toward the south what appeared to be a city. As he brought me nearer, I saw a man whose face shone like bronze standing beside a gateway entrance. He was holding in his hand a linen measuring cord and a measuring rod. He said to me, Son of man, watch and listen. Pay close attention to everything I show, many things. Then you will return to the people of Israel and tell them everything you have seen. I could see a wall completely surrounding the temple area. A man took a measuring rod that was 10.5 feet long and measured the wall, and the wall was 1/2 feet thick and 10.5 feet high. Then he went over to the eastern gateway and climbed the steps and measured the threshold of the gateway. It was 10.5 feet front to back. There were guards, alcoves on each side built into the gateway passage. Each alcoves was 10.5 feet square, with a distance between them of 8 3/4 feet along the passage wall. The gateway's inner threshold, which led to the room at the inner end of the gateway passage, was 10.5 feet from the back. He also measured the entry room of the gateway. It was 14 feet across, with supporting columns of 3.5 feet thick. This entry room was at the inner end of the gateway structure, facing toward the temple. There were 3 guard alcoves on the side of the gateway passage. Each had the same measurements, and the dividing walls separating them were also identical. The man measured the gateway entrance, which was 17.5 feet wide at the opening and 22 3/4 feet wide in the gateway passage. In front of each of the guard alcoves was a 21-inch curb. The alcoves themselves were 10.5 feet on each side. Then he measured the entire width of the gateway, measuring the distance between the back walls of the facing guard alcoves, and this was 43 3/4 feet. He measured the dividing walls all along the inside of the gateway, up to the entry room of the gateway. This distance was 105 feet. The full length of the gateway passage was 87.5 feet from one end to the other. There were recessed windows that narrowed inward through the walls of the guard alcoves and their dividing walls. There were also windows in the entry room. The service dividing walls were decorated with carved palm trees. Then the man brought me through the gate into the outward into the outer courtyard of the temple. A stone pavement ran along the walls of the courtyard, and 30 rooms were built against the walls, opening onto the pavement. This pavement flanked the gates and extended out from the walls into the courtyard, the same distance as the gateway entrance. This was the lower pavement. Then the man measured across the temple's outer courtyard, between the outer and the inner gateways. The distance was 175 feet. The man measured the gateway on the north just like the one on the east. Here, too, there were 3 gourd alcoves on each side, with dividing walls and an entry room. All the measurements matched those of the east gateway. The gateway passage was 87.5 feet long and 43 and 3/4 feet wide, between the back walls of facing guard alcoves. The windows, the entry room, and the palm tree decorations were identical to those in the east gateway. There were 7 steps up to the gateway entrance, and the entry room was at the inner end of the gateway passage. Here on the north side, just as on the east, there was another gateway leading to the temple's inner courtyard, directly opposite this outer gateway. The distance between the 2 gateways was 175 feet. Then the man took me around to the south gateway and measured its various parts, and they were exactly the same as in the others. It had windows along the walls as the others did, and there was an entry room where the gateway passage opened into the outer courtyard. And like the others, the gateway passage was 87.5 feet long and 43 and 3/4 feet wide between the back walls of the facing guard alcoves. This gateway also had a stairway of 7 steps leading up to it, and an entry room at the inner end, palm tree decorations along the dividing walls. And here again, directly opposite the outer way, was another gateway that led into the inner courtyard. The distance between the 2 gateways was 175 feet. Check the battery really. Let's keep on reading. How you doing, Triple J? Hi. What's up, Cheesy? What's up, Alex? I hope you feel better. We'll send you a prayer when we do the prayer. What's up, Seventh? Give me one. Trying to read chat. What's up, Robo? Very interesting. I'll give you a little question to distract you, or not really distract you, but just like, get it off my face, please, please. Okay, we're gonna take this off. Mario. Okay, you gotta go. There we go. Got it off the screen. I was doing there. Get it away. All right. Let's keep on. Let's keep on reading. Okay. Let's get into James 2:18 through 3, going through verse 18. Now, someone may argue some people have faith, others have good deeds. But I say, how can you show me your faith if you don't have any good deeds? I will show you my faith by my good deeds. You say you have faith, for you believe that there is one God. Good for you. Even the demons believe this, and they tremble in terror. How foolish. Can't you see faith without good deeds is useless? Don't you remember that our ancestor Abraham was shown to be right with God by his actions when he offered his son Isaac on the altar? You see, his faith and his actions worked together. His actions made his faith complete. So it happened just as the scriptures say. Abraham believed God, and God counted him righteous because of his faith. He was even called the friend of God. So you see, we are shown to be right with God by what we do, not by faith alone. See, what does 6-7 mean? Rahab, the prostitute, is another example, and she was shown to be right with God by her actions when she hid those messengers and sent them safely away by a different road. Just as the body is dead without breath, so also is faith dead without good works. Dear brothers and sisters, many of you should become teachers in the church, for we should teach who will be judged more strictly. Indeed, we all make many mistakes, for if we could control our tongues, we will be perfect and could also control ourselves in every other way. We can make a large horse go wherever we want to by means of a small bit in his mouth. And a small rudder makes a huge ship turn whenever a pilot chooses to go. Even are also strong. In the same way, the tongue is a small thing that makes grand speeches, but a tiny spark can set a great forest on fire. And among all the parts of the body, the tongue is a flame of fire. It is a whole world of wickedness, corrupting your entire body. It can set your whole life on fire, for it's set on fire by hell itself. We can tame all kinds of animals, birds, reptiles, and fish, but no one can tame the tongue. It is restless and evil, full of deadly poison, and sometimes it praises our Lord and Father, and sometimes it curses those who are made in the image of God. And so blessing and cursing come pouring out of the same mouth. Surely, my brothers and sisters, this is not right. Does a spring of water bubble out with both fresh and bitter water? Does a fig tree produce olives or a grapevine produce figs? No. And you can't draw fresh water from a salty spring. If you're wise and understand God's ways, prove it by living an honorable life, doing good works with the humility that comes from wisdom. But if you're bitterly jealous and there is selfish ambition in your heart, don't corrupt the truth with boasting and lying. For jealousy and selfishness are not God's kind of wisdom. Such things are earthly, unspiritual, and demonic. For wherever there is jealousy and self ambition, there you will find disorder and evil of every kind. But the wisdom from above is first of all pure. It is a pure peace, loving, gentle at all times, and willing to yield to others. It is full of mercy, of good deeds. It shows no favoritism and is always sincere. And those peacemakers will plant seeds of peace and reap a harvest of righteousness. And now let's get into Psalms. So I get a lot of notifications for him. Let's get into Psalms 118, 118. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. Oh, he is good. For he is worthy. Worthy. Okay, let's get back to it. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His faithful love endures forever. Let all Israel repeat, his faithful love endures forever. Let Aaron's descendants, the priests, repeat, his faithful love endures forever. Let all who fear the Lord repeat, his faithful love endures forever. In my distress I prayed to the Lord, and the Lord answered me and set me free. The Lord is for me, so I will have no fear. What can people do to me? Yes, the Lord is for me. He will help me. I will look in triumph at those who hate me. It is better to take refuge in the Lord than to trust in people. It is better to take refuge in the Lord than to trust in princes. Though hostile nations surrounded me, I destroyed them all with the authority of the Lord. Yes, they surrounded and attacked me, but I destroyed them all with the authority of the Lord. They swarmed around me like bees. They blazed against me like crackling fire. I destroyed all of them with the authority of the Lord. My enemies did their best to kill me, but the Lord rescued me. Yes, he did. The Lord is my strength and my song. He has given me victory. Songs of joy and victory are sung in the camp of the godly. The strong right arm of the Lord has done glorious things, and the strong right arm of the Lord is raised in triumph. The strong right arm of the Lord has done glorious things, and I will not die. Instead, I will live to tell you what the Lord has done. The Lord has punished me severely, but he did not let me die. And now Proverbs 28:2. When there is more rot within a nation, its government topples easily, but wise and knowledgeable leaders bring stability. And now, talk is not cheap. Talk is not cheap. Interesting. Okay, let's see what they mean by this today. Talk is not cheap. Haven't heard that one before. Okay, talk is not cheap. If we're not in control of our tongues, it can be very costly for us and those around us. How often have we been burned by something we said? And how often has our criticism or I got burp. Sorry, I had to burp. I try to say it. I try to word before I burp. Sorry. Should have just burped. Or our insensitivity, a destructive fire or anger from someone else. If counseling support groups, Bible studies, and church attendance are not having an impact on what we say and how we say it, we might be wasting our just going through the motions. Our tongues, first and foremost, must honor God. Ooh, 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 ooh. We're going to have a good little discussion about this one. We're going to have a little discussion about this one. But before we get into discussion chat, it is time. Why do they ask you so many times to invite people as guests or something? Appreciate that. Appreciate Ray. Ray. Good to see you, bro. Good to see you, bro. I had to scroll through chat. Appreciate the likes, Ray. What's up, Sam? Samantha, my cousin. I look at chat more often. Y'all be in here, but I don't look at chat. I just be trying to read. I gotta look at chat more often. I gotta be more dedicated to reading chats and having conversations with y'all. I know I want to read and read clearly, but the part of this whole thing is the discussion aspect of it, right? So, but chat, if it's your first time joining me for a stream and it's your first time joining us for the prayer section of the stream, I'm gonna go ahead and break down our prayer structure here, and give you a reason for you'd want to pray, right? Prayer is a way to build our relationship with God, right? It's a way to build our friendship with God. As we said here in today's read, Abraham was considered a friend to God, right? in order to build that relationship with God, we must have our conversations with Him, and they must be honest conversations, right? Because if you knew somebody was lying to you and they lied to you anyways, how would you feel about them, right? So it's about building that honest relationship with God because you can't lie to Him anyways, right? So might as well not try, right? But it's also about um, letting go of your burdens, right? So in our prayer tonight, I want you to remember that the biggest piece of it is to be honest and to let go of whatever burden you've been carrying, right? Because how can God fill your vessel and begin to make His moves and His way um, if there's no space, right? A full person doesn't eat anymore, do they? And a full cup, you can't put no more juice in it, can you? So um, it's time for you to empty your cup out a little bit, pour some of that juice out. It's spoiled, some old milk in that cup. It's been sitting in there too long, it's lumpy. Pour it out, you know, and go wash your cup out real quick and put some fresh milk in the cup. All right. So, and that fresh milk is God, right? But God can't fill that clean new cup with all that old nasty stuff in there, right? So that old lumpy milk in there, right? So let's pour out the old lumpy milk. All right. Let's pour out that old lumpy milk, okay? Funny analogy, I understand. Doesn't make sense. Makes sense to me, okay? um, but I'm telling jokes, but I'm being honest, right? Um, and in order for you to see those works that you're looking for and those prayers for you the way you're looking for them to be answered, you have to make room, right? The only way to make room is to removing things and being honest about things that are not helping you, right? So let's let go of those things that are not helping us. Um, and that is just, if that is doubts, right? If you're doubting, you're not having faith in God, tell you, I'm not having faith right now. He ain't going to beat you up for not having faith. He going to help you build more faith, right? Um, if you're having problems with sins or lustful behavior, beat you up for being lustful, right? He gonna help you with your lustful behavior and give you ways to be lustful no more, right? If you're a compulsive liar, right? He's not gonna beat you up for being a liar because right now you're telling him the truth. You told him that your problem with lying and he won't help. So you told the truth today, right? So he's not gonna beat you up for being a liar in the past. He's gonna help you stop being a liar in the future. Um, if you're bad with your word, um, well, he's not going to beat you up for being bad because you're trying to be stronger with your word, right? So what is he going to do? He's going to uplift you and build you stronger with your word and give you some opportunities to build your word stronger, right? So what's up, Ray? Good to see you, bro. Um, if you want to receive blessings, well, you got to be ready to release those old burdens, those old sins. Be honest about those things. Without further ado, let's get into tonight's prayer. All right. Now you do your prayer and I'm going to do mine. Okay. You do your prayer and I'm going to do mine. Good to see you, bro. And appreciate the birthday message. Appreciate the birthday message. Um, so now, um, chat, it's time for tonight's prayer. Okay. So I'm going to do my prayer. Can y'all hear that music outside? That was random. Okay. But, um, so we can go with today's word today. In case I'm lacking in any way, because I may be. Um, and today's word was covering being better with my tongue, with my words, with my speech, with my choice of words that I use, so I can give your message better, so I don't overspeak. Um, we talked about this several times, and I haven't quite asked for this in prayer yet, but I see that this is something I should definitely pray for. Um, so I want to today, God, I want to come to you today, and I just want to be honest. I've been trying to be better with the speech. The stuttering kind of got me a bit there, the headaches. But maybe this is just you trying to get me to ask for what I need to be asking for, um, and for you to also to catch me when I'm over speaking. Right? Sometimes I may say too much, And sometimes I don't. Some things just don't need to be said. Um, so I just want to say and come to you and ask for you and say thank you for you working in the midst. So thank you for helping me be more you and helping build my relationship with you better, so that I can feel comfortable being honest and not be embarrassed, um, and ask for genuinely the things um, that you were showing me that I should be better with, right? So today, God, I want to come to you and ask for your grace with my word, with my tongue, so that I'm saying the right things and the things that will bring um, joy to you. Um, and I already know you're coming in and you're bringing more power into my voice, and that power is coming from me knowing what words to use and not trying to stumble over which word I'm going to use next or stuttering or any of those things. And I know you can do that right now, or I can pretend I need to do it over time, but whatever you decide and whatever is your way, that's the way I'll go. And now I want to say thank you for, the things I say thank you for every single day, right? Um, and it's for my generations to come, it's for myself, and it's for my family, right? So God, I want to say thank you for your generational wisdom and the application of your generational wisdom. God, I want to say thank you for your generational clarity, application of your generational clarity. God, I want to say thank you for your generational discernment and application of your generational discernment. God, I want to say thank you for your generational love and application of your generational love. God, I want to say thank you for your generational trust and application of your generational trust. God, I want to say thank you for your generational favor and application of your generational favor. God, I want to say thank you for your generational care and generational fear. God, I said fair, care. God, I say thank you for your generational peace and application of your generational peace. God, I say thank you for your generational protection and application of your generational protection. God, I say thank you for your generational prosperity and application of your generational prosperity. God, I say for forgiving my sins and my generation to come sins, God. God, I say thank you for the application of forgiving my sins and my generation to come sins, God. God, I say thank you for holding my hand and my generation to come hand, God. And God, I say thank you for the application of you holding my hand and my generation to come hand, God. God, I say thank you for your generational kingdom, God. God, I say thank you for the application of your generational kingdom. And God, I say thank you for generational wealth, God, and the application of generational wealth. In Jesus' name, amen, amen, and amen. Thank you. And now we turn to our neighbor and we tell him I love you. So neighbor, I love you. And neighbor over here, I love you as well. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Now let's get into today's word. Now let's get today's word. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Today's word. Okay. But let's go over our chapters really quickly, chat. So today we read Ezekiel 39, 1 through 40, going through verse 27. We followed up Ezekiel with James 2:18 through 3, going to verse 18. After James, Psalms 118, 1 through 18. And after Psalms, we got into Proverbs 28:2. 28:2, excuse me. I just burped. I'm not sure if y'all can hear me. How much y'all can hear background noise? But give me one moment to sit quietly with Ezekiel quickly, chat. Okay, so we got a beautiful follow-up message from previous days. Um, and from Ezekiel, the very beginning is, I will exalt you in front of your enemies, right? Um, when your enemies try to tear you down, and they're doing that unjustly, um, I'll exalt you right in the face, right? Um, and they will have no choice but to recognize that God is working in your life, right? But to follow that up, right? And to follow that up, God is also, though, He's telling you, I'm going to exalt you in front of them, but don't make an embarrassment out of me, right? I'm going to exalt you in front of them, but don't make an embarrassment out of me, right? My decrees to the T, exact measurements, right? I don't need you adding all your extra stuff in there, right? I gave you very, very precise guidelines, and stop trying to a lot of them so much, right? Um, and that pretty much gave us, and we get that pretty much from the exact measurements that he saw in his dream, right? This is an image of saying, God, I've given you all the measurements. I give you to a T what you need to do, right? So stop trying to work outside of what I've given you. right? So, yes, I'll exalt you in front of your enemies when they're coming after you unjustly, but don't embarrass me. I've given you exact things to follow, so follow them. So follow them. Stop trying to add all your extra stuff to this, and just follow what I've given you. And now let's get into James 2:18 through 3, go to verse 18. And this is follow up. This is follow up of yesterday's word. This is a follow up of yesterday's word. Faith without is nothing, right? Because how are you how are you showing your faith with no works? How are you showing your faith with no works, right? Nobody can answer that one. How are we showing your faith with no works? So it's another call out of follow up of yesterday's read, and yesterday's read was big on faith without works is is dead. You know, if you're not doing the good work, show others to follow the faith and to trust God and how good God is, then you're not doing anything. You're not doing anything, and your faith is pretty much pointless. you know, then it kind of comes out. Oh, you now your faith is kind of pointless because what is it for? What is it for? You know, what is it for? Is it for show? You just want to tell people I got faith and they have none when it comes to actually using it for stuff, or having to believe in something you can't see, right? Faith without works is dead. It means absolutely nothing, right? Because if you can't have faith in things you can't see, then there's no point, right? Then there's no point. Um, so faith without works, might as well not even have it. Might as well not even. But if you do have faith, right, you have the opportunity to do the works behind it, right, and show everybody else how good God is, because that's the whole point. We are God's examples on the earth, right? We're example of God, God's love and grace, God's actual unconditional love and unconditional grace on the earth, right? So if you're not showing those, you're not doing those works, then you're not doing your job anyways. You're not doing your job anyways, right? So do your job. Do your job. You are a representative. You are the rep. You know how you go to a store and it's the dude with all the merchandise on? He got all the merchandise on, and then he's the rep for the store. Well, you're the rep for God. You know? So when people meet you, they're supposed to be feeling God's presence when they speak to you. They're supposed to be feeling loved and welcomed, and um, uh, you want them to be able to feel like they want to speak on you, um, and to be open around you, and to you know just enjoy. You bring back the joy back to life when they're present. They're like, and then they wonder, what is that? And then you tell them, it's not me, it's God, right? And then they're like, oh, it's God. I gotta get some of that God fella. I need some of that God fella in my life. They feel like this. They life this good. God be doing things that fast for them. I gotta give me some of that God fella in my life. When it may start off as them being superficial, right? Trying to get God, but eventually, right? Eventually they'll be like, oh, I don't really need all those super things. I mean, God is a lot better than just all this material stuff, right? Um, and then they really get to bask in the presence of God. And now what you did was such a big thing and beautiful thing in their life, right? So remember, you are the representative. You're the rep, right? You're the one wearing all the God merchandise, all the Jesus merchandise, right, in the store. uh, um, but not to oppress them with that and make them feel like, oh, they have to choose, but to make them feel welcomed. Because that's what God makes you feel welcomed. When you're in the presence of God, you feel welcomed. I feel welcomed. When I pray and God take my burdens away, I feel, oh man, somebody cares about me. I feel welcome. Like, oh man, I was thinking all this stuff for no reason. And I was welcome the whole time. Right? So let's be, more than adequate representatives. Right? Let's be more than adequate representatives. Okay? And let's get into Proverbs 28:2. When there is a moral rot within a nation, it topples easily, but wise and knowledgeable leaders bring stability. When there's a moral rot within a nation, its government topples easily, but wise and knowledgeable leaders bring stability. Well, when a person, right, we'll bring it down back down to us, right, bring this back to our level. Um, Within a person, when there's a moral rot within a person, what happens? They fall apart, right? It may not happen immediately, it may just happen over time. But when there's a rot within a person, they end up falling apart, right? And um, it you have to watch them topple and pretty much like self-destruct, right? Um, but wise and knowledgeable leaders bring stability, right? So um, somebody who may have some rot may come into your life, right? And as a representative here on the planet, right, your job is to be the wise and knowledgeable leader that brings stability, right? So do your works because there's going to be somebody that has some more rot going on that feels like the world is crashing down around them, right? Like there's nobody around them. They can't believe in anything. They feel so alone, right? But you being faithful, you doing the work will make you wise, and knowledgeable, and then you'll be the leader that brings stability, right? To that person who just needs a little bit of help, right? And then what you'll know, what you know for this is, hey, and then okay, your job is not to lean on me, right? It's not to lean on me. Your job is to go talk to him for yourself, right? Now you see, now build your relationship. Now you see, now build your relationship, right? Because you can't depend on me. One day I'm going to die. One day I'm going to die, right? And I won't be here no more. So you can't put all your faith in me. So you got to build your own faith. So you need to build your own relationship, right? So that means you must start doing your own discussions. You must start talking to God and being honest with God yourself, right? Because you can't put that burden on somebody else because one day they're going to leave here, right? So give that burden back to God and don't put it on anybody else. All right. And now, talk is not cheap. If we're not to keep our tongues, it can be very costly for us and those around us. How often have we been burned by something we said? And how often has our criticism or insensitivity set off a destructive fire from someone else? If counseling, support groups, Bible studies, and church attendance are not having impact on what we say and how we say it, we might be wasting our time and just be going through the motions. Our tongues, first and foremost, must honor God. That is the end of day 323 in a row of our 1 Year Bible Read. But before you go, you got to stay tuned for the best outro on the internet. All right? All right. Y'all ready? We all got that limitless core, baby. I appreciate you. I might even love you, but I'm for sure glad you woke up today. Thank you for joining me for another read on the Limitless Core channel and on Core Extended. Thank you. And if nobody told you, I appreciate your presence. It's the most valuable thing you have, right? And the fact that you spent even a minute, a second, a millisecond, or if you've been for a while now, like Ray in the stream, or Ash, Alex over on YouTube, or all the other people that come to my chat. Um, I just really do appreciate you. Thank you for rocking with me for as long as you have, because you don't have to. Um, and I hope you have a great and wonderful rest of your night, because I'm going to have a great and wonderful rest of mine. Peace. I'm going to see you next time. Have a blessed night. We out. Good night, and see you tomorrow for day 324 in a row. Good night. Good night. Good night, Ray. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you, brother. Thank you for the likes as always, brother. Good night, brother. Always good to see you. Boom, boom, boom. And YouTube. I'm not sure who's in YouTube chat right now because I can't tell, but hey, thank you for your presence as always. I truly do appreciate it. And you have a great and blessed rest of your night as well. Good night to you.